Welcome to Emovura Audiobooks. Every mystery begins with a single clue. Every clue leads to another question, and every question hides a truth. This is Emovura Crime Files. Rewind. Original crime stories. Today's story. Lot 47. Let's rewind the evidence. The end. Desmond Price bought Lot 47 at a Saturday storage auction for $80, hoping mostly for a few pieces of furniture he could flip for a modest profit that same weekend at the flea market 2 towns over. Instead, digging through boxes near the back corner, while his daughter filmed on her phone for a school assignment, he found a shoebox taped tightly shut, and inside it, tucked beneath a folded scarf that still smelled faintly of perfume, a driver's license belonging to a woman who had been officially missing for 3 long years. His daughter kept the camera rolling out of habit for a full 10 seconds after he stopped talking, the two of them just standing there in the dim unit, before she finally lowered the phone and asked, very quietly, if that was a real person. He called the police on himself, hands shaking, before he'd even finished reading the woman's full name aloud in the dusty unit. His daughter's phone still recording the whole thing from her pocket. Hours earlier, he'd only opened the unit at all that morning because his teenage daughter had dared him to film the whole thing for her school report on unusual jobs, bargain bin storage auctions. She'd insisted, with a grin over breakfast, would make for a genuinely funny video to show her class on Monday, better than interviewing her uncle, the accountant, again. Days earlier, the storage facility had cleared the unit for public auction after its longtime renter, a quiet man named Gareth Halden, simply stopped paying rent and disappeared entirely, roughly 3 months after a local woman named Talia Monroe was first reported missing by her worried younger sister, who had called the facility twice asking about her sister's belongings and never got a call back from the manager on duty. Weeks earlier, Gareth had been the very last person seen with Talia alive, questioned briefly at the time by 2 local detectives over coffee at his kitchen table, and released fairly quickly for a simple lack of any hard evidence against him, beyond a few uneasy neighbors' impressions of raised voices one night. He left town for good not long after that, without so much as a forwarding address for his remaining mail, which piled up at the post office for months before being returned to sender. The beginning. Gareth and Talia had been secretly involved for several months before that. When she finally learned he was still legally married and tried once and for all to end things between them at his apartment one night, a heated argument turned suddenly, irreversibly fatal, in a way neither of them had ever once intended when the evening started. Rather than report what he'd done that terrible night, he quietly hid her belongings, and the evidence along with them, inside a rented storage unit 2 towns over, and fled the state entirely, never once imagining that a stranger's weekend bargain hunting, prompted purely by his own daughter's harmless homework assignment, would eventually find what an entire official police investigation never could in 3 long years of looking for her. You've just listened to Emovura Crime Files. Rewind. If you enjoyed today's mystery, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new case. Thanks for listening to Emovura Audiobooks.